Hood Postman, City, Hood, Click. Let's go.
About humanity, putting truth in these lines while they busy feeding lies. When you got that tunnel vision, gotta open up your eyes. Wake up and go to sleep. Man, I'm praying all times. And to my guys, ain't no other side. This for my brothers, I'ma pray with y'all shine. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Lock the door. Go ahead, lock the door. Yeah, you already know.
Depending on the lessons, some people eat, some people learn. But the game is going to send you big. Lock the door.
Lock the door. The game is going to send you a bill. Shout out to the Mailroom Nation and the Mailroom Goons. I am Professor Melly Mail, the Hood Postman. Be sure to click that notification bell, like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment down below. Some of the dope content hit. It'll feel like it's the first and 15. Welcome to the mailroom. When you come in, take a look at your mind, examine what's in your heart. Before they had handguns, they had hand gods. Man up. You can go anywhere in the world to get a couple of lies, but you come right here to get the truth. And the truth you shall receive. Get on the bus and let me take you to school. Shout out to the mailroom. This is not a glorification nor a glamorization. It's always education. That's what it is, guys. Shout out to Black Spirit Warrior. Keep what's happening, what's going on. Sands, what's going on? Dominique, Marlena Williams, Frederick, Chico, what's happening? Chico, what's happening? What's happening? Man, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys. Thank you for coming in and hearing me out today and see what kind of commentary, comment I'm gonna drop down and content I'm gonna bring to it. Because let's be honest, guys. Everybody is not capable of creating content or being a social commentator. And what I mean by that, there's a lot of people that's on the internet that only focuses on one thing and one thing only. That makes them have a one-track mind. They're unable to get outside of the insignificance of their upbringing, or they used to be this or used to be that, and it used to be, you just a used to be guy. We're in the 2024. So I just want to bring that, but I also want to bring, there's such thing as a reprobate, right? A reprobate mind is an immoral, deprived, and unprincipled individual, very unprincipled. A reprobate mind is signified the loss of logic, reasoning, morality, and in a person. In other words, the reprobate mind is given over to the irrational pursuits of insignificant and destructive things that harms the body and soul and the others that are around them. Don't mind me just watching, but go ahead and lock that door. Let's get to the content now. Let's get to the content. We're here to talk about Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith is a gigantic coon. Him, amongst others, happen to get their coonology or their coonery in every chance they seek to get it in. I'm talking about when it comes concerning us as a people, our culture. And you can best assured that he's going to do it every time. But what he should be concerned about, and I'm talking about just Stephen A. Smith, I believe in you as a sports commentator, Stephen A. Smith. However, I don't think your portrayal of black culture and community is often influenced by your people that you've worked for, not necessarily how you think or what you know, but by the culture of ESPN, whatever is best for their for that culture. It's evident that you have your bosses and your sore loser mentalities. I mean, because here's the thing, right? For OJ Simpson, who is now dead, guys, now dead, he was actually found not guilty. Not guilty. So the guilt found out guilty amongst a jury of his peers, actually. People, because here's the thing, right? They actually wanted, just like they did the Rodney King trial, they held it over in Simi Valley. They wanted to do that with the OJ Simpson trial. But they got so much pushback from the over large community of black people. They decided they didn't want to have that same effect that they had during the Rodney King verdict. When that Rodney King verdict came down, LA lost it. They lost it. They went in. So what they do, they put people up, puppets like coons, like Stephen A. Smith. They put him out there, and he goes to saying, giving his personal side or how he feel about things, but it's not how we feel. During OJ's college years, he achieved some great milestones, a few professional milestones. By entering professional football, his greatness came through it. He ascended to greatness. Despite differing opinions, the black community believed that around award that was given to him, I mean BET, I think that was well deserved because of his accolades and the things he's given. He did, right? Now there's gonna be some people that differ with me on this because here's the thing, these are the facts. There's about 90% of black people, if slavery was ever to happen again, they'll tell you it's God will. I don't know why they would do that, but that's just where they at because of how what their belief systems there are and how it's been set up in their head and their mind to be the discerning factor in all areas of their life. Don't mind me again when the same guy that wrote the published the Satanic Bible published the NIV Bible. Both the same guy, one and the same. He published both Bibles. I mean, yeah, the Satanic version and the Christian version. That's a little scary right there. But let's get back to Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith, you should be more concerned with why Troy Aikman and the guy Joe Buck. I think Troy Aikman makes about 90 million. And the Joe Buck makes about 75 million. But yet you're supposed to be the biggest voice on ESPN. They work less than you, but they make more money than you. Won't you look into that? Why is that? Because here's the what reason why. You're black. You're expendable. They don't care. This is a white man situation. It's a white man world. Even when you look at the football and all this stuff, it's just the same thing as the gladiators. When they had during Roman time, they had gladiator. It's just an upgrade from there. But the owners of the gladiators were always white men. And the gladiators were what? A mixed breed of black, Italian, Spaniards, and other individuals. So nothing's changed. Nothing's new under the sun. It's all the same. So when you look at in terms of potential earning over at ESPN, yeah, Stephen A. Smith, you have the biggest voice over there, but yet you're not paid like your counterparts, the white man. But yet, when there's something going on in the black community, you the first one to jump out there. Start going in there. Of course, you spoke about dealing Roof when he went into that church and did what he did, but I don't think you went far enough based on your platform and based on who you are as in our community. You could have said a great deal more. You even touched on George Zimmerman. You touched on it. I think again, you could have did far more than what you did. You could have convened a panel of black activists and sit down there and let them use your platform to say what they needed to say. You didn't do that. Then here comes George Floyd, Stephen A. Smith. You was a little shaky and wobbly on that as well. Oh, you talked about the police, what that should have happened to them. But the overall factor is that you did circle back around and start talking about George Floyd. But one guy you did not talk about, and I wonder why, Stephen A. Why you didn't talk about Kyle Wittenhouse or whatever his name, Wittenhouse. You never even mentioned a word about that demon. Pure demon. You never mentioned one word. So I'm coming to my platform to inform my people that listen to me, and I just want to get you guys take. Am I wrong for calling Stephen A. Smith out? Am I wrong for calling him a clown? Am I wrong from pointing him out as he supposed to be this social commentator or sports analysis or social commentator, this person that can speak for black issues because he himself is black? But when you hear, and I'm gonna throw this guy in there, that Jason Whitlock, when you hear them commentary, when you hear them speaking on our community, speaking on what's going on, man, it's a turnoff. Now that out of all the evidence we found, they found that the police tampered with the evidence, tried to fudge the evidence, got on the stand and lied, and then they didn't even investigate the gardener that they found out that was later on convicted of being a serial killer that worked for Nicole Smith. White man, didn't ever bring him up. Why you guys didn't follow the full investigation? Because it led to OJ, and you wanted to convict OJ. He was a black man riding a Bronco down the freeway, fearing for his life. And you guys televised it. So when Johnny Cochran got in there, the baddest man in the West got in there and did what he did, and they assembled what they call a dream team for lawyers. Bailey, Robert Kardashian, F. Lee Bailey, Robert Kardashian. I forgot the other guy's name. It was about 5 or 6 lawyers in there. I'm talking about they was bad. And he came out of there with a not guilty plea. So why we can't leave it there? Why we got to keep retrying O.J. Simpson when the jury has spoken, the judge has spoken that he was found not guilty? Then they didn't like that, so they moved the next trial, which was the punitive phase of it, the civil phase of it, to Santa Monica, where they could get, they could get a verdict over there. Of course they can, right? Of course they can. And they found him liable. But you found him not guilty of the crime, but you found him liable of some other stuff, which is crazy to me. But only in America, right? As they say, only in America. Who was that used to say that? Don King, only in America. What's going on, Black Warrior Spirit? Stephen A. Smith needs to address Ryan Garcia missing the N-word and the black reparations money. Stephen A. Smith is not going to touch on that, bro, because he's owned by ESPN. He's only going to touch on things that ESPN allows him to touch on. Anything else outside of whatever their structure and their curriculum within the framework of ESPN, Stephen A. Smith is not going to say nothing, because you see, when Kyle Wittenhouse did what he did down there, what is it, Nova Scotia, Minnesota, killed that girl, and tried to commit murder on other individuals based on because they were Jewish or they believed in the march. I can't remember what was the march about. Was it about the brother that got killed down there and the young big brother? No, I think it might have been about what was that about? But it was a protest during Donald Trump and all this other stuff. That's what it's about. Because Donald Trump was like cheering this guy. You know, there's so many things that Donald Trump has done, and then I really don't understand that. I mean, I understand you guys want change. Da, 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 da. You don't like Biden. You don't like this. You don't. But Trump is no answer to what you want either. Trump, in some ways, is probably worse. And I'm not making a distinction to either one as far as that goes. But what I am going to say that Trump said, what is black jobs? Is there a particular job that blacks only do? Black jobs? What is that? Marlena, do you have a black job? Michelle, do you have a black job, Michelle? Somebody please tell me what is a black job? All facts, big professor. So but coming back to Stephen A. Smith, man, he's the worst person in the world when it comes to our community. Because he's quick. Quick. Remember when Kyrie Irving was going through what he's going through because he didn't want to take the jug? And he refused to do it. And he said, no, I just won't play. Right? Because he didn't want the jab. And I followed him on that. And then when all them Hebrew Israelites showed up down there, the way they did, and you got Coon, Stephen A. Smith, Coon Charles Barkley, Coon, Shaq was cooning too. They all literally just, wrote the man off, said he should never be allowed back in basketball. And da 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 da. Stephen A. Smith was leading the cheer. But when it come to how many times have Stephen A. Smith spoken on the hockey guys that beat their wives and do some of the craziest things to their wives, or the baseball guys that beat their wives and do these horrendous things to women and stuff? How many times have you heard Stephen A. Smith speak on any one of those guys doing any one of those things? Never. So this is what I like to refer to: righteous indignation, when we have the right to be angry about whatever we're seeing or whatever we're witnessing or whatever we hear coming from Stephen A. Smith, aka Bozo the Clown. Yeah, I said that, and I mean it. You're Bozo the Clown. And I know it's a lot of bozos on the internet. There's a lot of bozos. And 90% of them don't have the mental gymnastics or the comprehension or the understanding to articulate a real story or come up with content that's associated with social commentary of black issues. They don't, because they rather talk about what does this phrase say? When they talk about great ideas, affairs, and small minds and different stuff. I forget the actual quote, and I'm not here for that, but I am here to see what is called observable reality. This is just observable reality, what I'm seeing, because Stephen A. Smith goes on a platform and says all these things, right? And he seems to be like he's the Pied Piper or the spokesman for the community. He's Martin Luther King of ESPN or something. But should we be taking him serious? Or should we be looking at him and seeing why is he doing what he's doing? Now, at BET, we know that BET is not owned by black folks anymore. We know that Robert Johnson sold it long ago. But if they decided that they want to give an award to O.J. Simpson for his accolades in football, movies, his college accolades, and everything he did, because man, there was one thing about him, man. When he got that ball, Howard Cosell used to say, "The juice is loose." Man, he ran that ball like that was like one of my during my time to watch O.J. Simpson playing for the Buffalo Bills and all that stuff like that, and he would grab the ball and run it, and then he would verse. He was the first Barry Sanders, and then there came Barry Sanders. But before Barry Sanders, there was O.J. Simpson, and before him, there was Jim Brown. A person can't reply back if they're dead. You're right. Shout out to Stanley, man. You're right. Can't. Stephen A. Smith, but look at it, Dominique. Stephen A. Smith supposed to be this dynamic individual, very clever, witty, smart, intelligent, all that, right? But yet he let them reduce him to this coonery. And the coonocracy is that Stephen A. Smith, Charles Barkley, and occasionally Shaq gets caught in the coonocracy, and the Jason Whitlock is the king coonocracy. King coonocracy. They get caught up in that, right? And they say some of the most ridiculous things when it comes to our people. But they're not talking about the hockey players, all the damage and all the corruption and all the brutality that they do over there. Man, them dudes over there is always up beating for beating women, drinking too much, using drugs. Stephen A. Smith ain't saying nothing. Why? Because they're pretty much 100% white over there. Uh, he's not talking about the baseball players get caught up using steroids and doing all the stuff they doing and beating women and getting having drunken outings and running cars off the road and stuff like that. Don't say a word. Soon as somebody black get up, yeah, Stephen A. Here you come. I come a cooning, Jack Massa. I come a cooning for you. I'm a coon for you. That's how you do it. And it's funny, man, because when we see this, no, Professor, I do not know what a black job is. I don't know what one is. I thought I would ask, though, Marlene. I just thought I had to ask in case you had an answer to that. Does anybody know what a black job is? Please enlighten me what a black job is. Shout out to Monique. What's going on, Monique? Monique, do you know what a black job is? Chief, do you know what a black job is? Should we be listening to Stephen A. Smith, the bozo that graduated from Coonocracy? He graduated from Coonocracy with a PhD. He has a player hater degree from Coonocracy, the University of Coonocracy. He didn't say anything. What it said, who got lying about get this shot? What about Aaron Rodgers? That was another one. But what about Brett Favre? What did Steven did I don't know. I don't remember if he said anything about Brett. Brett Favre went down there and took all them resources from them black people down in Mississippi. He's already a rich white man. But why he need to take their money and do what he did? That was crazy. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Aaron Rodgers didn't get the jab. He's tiptoeing. He's a real daddy's son. His pappy is way over there. Yeah, ESPN is their daddy, man. You know, that's why we don't see Monique Hill over there no more, because Monique Hill was one of them sisters that stood up and spoke her mind. And that's why we don't see her on ESPN today. But again, uh, Troy Aikman make 90 million. The Joe Buck guy makes about 75. And I think Stephen A get around about 12 or something like that. You know, I don't quote me on it. Go look it up. I don't know. I'm just speculating on my, but I did see that Troy Aikman makes 90 million. And I did say that Joe Buck makes 75. But and they work half the time that Stephen A works. And they make more money. Stephen A should be more concerned about that than anything. What's going on, Ricardo? Stephen A half the brothers. Sure, they half of them, huh? Pass the mail all the time. Nope, I don't know what a black job is, nor do I, Monique. I do not know. But yet, how do we ignore these things when they're being said? How do we continue to pretend? Like again, I'm gonna tell you this, guys, again. If blacks were to be enslaved again, 90% of them would say it's God's will. 90%. Why? Because they follow a certain ideology, dogmas, religiosity, and those things hold them in a place to where they don't want to get it, even though they can be hearing something different and they can feel that it's different, but based on the fear of being demonized or being burned in the hellfire and all that stuff. I don't deal with, don't bring me no spooky stuff. I don't deal with spooky. Show me tangibles, then you got my attention. But don't tell me about no spooky stuff. Oh, that's spooky to me. You know. Nope, he didn't say anything about Brett Favre. And Brett Favre, again, worst person in the world. And they've been carrying that along, carrying that along, carrying that along, and nobody says anything like it don't even exist, right? You know, soon it just go away. People are evil no matter what race. That's good and bad and everything. They said God created both good and evil. So that pretty much explains that, JS. You know what? It might have been, I don't know, it might have been his full contract at 90 million, you know, and I think it's around about 18 million a year, round off. And the same with Joe Buck, he makes 75 million in contract. I think he makes about 15, but I think Stephen A still makes about 12 per year. But what I'm saying, he do more work than they do still. However you want to look at that. Stephen A. Smith gets paid to sell out and undermine black people, and he is an immigrant. He just received a 90 million contract last week. Facts. Dang. Shannon Sharp said that. Shannon Sharp said what? He said, if you see him hugged up with a black woman, call the cops because she's robbing him. That's wow, man. That is wow. I can't remember where I got this story from. I do not remember where I got this story from. That's the crazy part. This story about this brother, right? He was going to. It was something similar like the guy that did the Blind Side. Something similar to that, but not quite that. He was going. He was a all out athlete, great athlete, and he was not doing too well academically, right? And he had this white woman who was tutoring him. She was tutoring him, and she asked him one day, did he have a girlfriend? He said no. He was just focusing on his sports and trying to get better in academically. And she said, well, I'll tell you what, you take my daughter out, and I'll be sure to make sure you get everything you need. And you know, so he agreed. He took the daughter out and took a couple out a couple of times. Nothing happened. He was just uh, a trade for a trade, right? After a while, when he didn't respond the way she thought he should respond, she got mad because he really didn't like this woman's daughter. And what the woman was trying to do was set her daughter up for life because she knew this guy was going to be that, all that in a bag of chips in the sports world. So I'm saying that to say this is that these women, they be seeing black brothers and they know they look for them purposely. They see who's what and who's doing what, and they go after them, bro. Remember that chase when we saw CD Lamb when he was being selected to the Cowboys, and how the white girl jumped all up like she was like just she knew she ain't made it, but he was so sharp, and his mama probably raised him well that he knew. Wait a minute, lady, sit down somewhere, and he got rid of her. But that's what they do. So a lot of brothers who haven't been socialized in certain ways, they don't see that. They think that these white women, they really don't care what a brother look like. They don't care nothing about that. And these white girls can be super bad. I'm talking about they can be it's just all out fine, whatever I know everybody fine differs, but I'm telling you, these be some nice looking women. And they don't care what the brothers look like. They don't. Come on, Embiid, right? The Batumbo, right? Patrick Ewing, right? They don't care, bro. They see millions and millions and millions of dollars. That's what they're interested in. Vanessa Bryant, what she saw in Kobe. Kobe ain't a bad looking dude, but right now, Kobe is no one looking. So all that wealth goes back where it came from. And his mom and dad is somewhere struggling. And that lady won't lift a finger to help his mom and daddy. The two people that brought him into this world, had it not been for them, he would not be here. So that's the type of stuff I'm telling you that Stephen A. Smith won't cover. He won't cover that. Nope, won't cover it. Right or wrong or indifferent, won't cover it. Some people are evil no matter what race. Yeah, I mean, we ain't dealing with that. We know that. Like I said, that's good and evil and everything. Everything has a duality. You just have to recognize it when you see it. Right, Four Jacks? Well, they may be one of the highest rated, and that's fine too. But if they're the highest rated and Stephen A. Smith is the best sports commentator, then why Stephen A. Smith ain't over there and let Joe Buck or Troy Aikman go over there to sit at the desk with Molly and Shannon or something? because Stephen A. Smith knows sports really, really well. Troy Aikman or Joe Buck can't talk sports as well as Stephen A. Smith. What I'm saying for Jackson, I know, and this is the problem with our people too. We will make excuses for other individuals in other races, in terms of just trying to be. And I'm not talking about you, for Jackson, but I am seeing that what you saying is true, right? But at the same time, why do we make excuses for it when we know how great Stephen A. Smith is in sports commentary? But then he's the first to come up to start talking about the black community. It just, I don't get it. Stop doing that, Stephen. Stay with the sports. Stick with the sports. That's the problem, though. Keith, see, there's nothing better than original, bro, and that's what we have to learn as blacks. I'm original man. Marlena is original woman. You're an original man. Monique is an original woman. Everything else are copies of who we are. We are the first people to inhabit the land, the earth, the atmosphere, to breathe this air. We are the first people, human, people of color, right? Whether you want to call us black, African American, whatever, you know. Frankly, I don't care which one it is. We can call us foundational black. Like the brother Tariq Nasheed said, we're foundational black, indigenous to the land that we standing on. There's so many things, but we have to come together and figure out what we're going to identify as and how we're going to identify ourselves. Football is king. Why is it king? I know a lot of people, and that's another thing. I get it too, for Jax, because you know what, man? When the Super Bowl come on, I don't even care. I don't care. I don't care with none of that stuff come on, because that's what I'm looking for. Why are we watching the Super Bowl? What's going on? I'm looking around the world to see what's going on. Why are we being distracted? Why are we focusing? Why is this particular day everybody is bought up all the chicken? They don't bought up all the sodas. So it's just another economy booster for the government, because they can use it for that purpose. But at the same time, because everybody here is trained. Remember, that's the same day. Was that the same day they pulled off that 30 million armory down in San Fernando Valley? Was during the Super Bowl, right? Have we heard anything else about that? Because everybody was watching the Super Bowl. I imagine. I wasn't watching. I was watching the robbery. What happened? Okay, robbery happened. Why? And I used to play football, but it wasn't until I started reading and I started investigating and I started doing studies and I started cross-reference things and I started statements of facts, data, statistics, and all this stuff. All these numbers started running across my head, and I started realizing some things. These are distractions. See, you can't be black and proud and a nigga too. Because white folks are planning 3 generations, and you're planning to see the Super Bowl or planning for Saturday night. That's the difference. And I'm not talking about you, Poor Jacks. I'm just explaining how I feel, how I personally feel about it. Steven's job, ESPN, is the black athletes. I believe that. I believe that. I believe that is his exact purpose. He's like a whooping dog. Like I say, his social commentary is superb. He has a great analysis and assessment of sports. He knows all the stats. He knows pretty much all the different players. He can talk to any one of them. Love yourself and nobody can stop you. You're right, Yeshua. You are absolutely correct. You are absolutely correct. I see people, man, people be ready to fight over the Super Bowl. They be ready to fight on the NBA, championship or whatever it is called. I sit back and just laugh because I'm not that dialed in. They're not sending me a check. They send me a check and I'll be more than happy to do what I need to do for that. If I can figure out a way how to get a check out of them people. Don't get me wrong. I got pictures of me in uniform, number 56, linebacker, middle linebacker. I got all that stuff. But after you start reading and writing, studying, and doing different stuff, you realize some things, bro. This stuff is not a coincidence. What's up, King Mike? How you doing? Get those likes up. Don't forget to hit the cash out either. Yeah, they forget that all the time. Ricardo, what's happening, man? Yep, that's right, Yeshua. Marlena, it's the best thing on earth. So, how do we as a people overcome these issues? Yeah, I can see that, JS, but that's just, that's what and see, and that's the thing, man. It's called race for a reason. What does race involve? Competition. That's what it's involved. It's just a competition, man. There's always competitiveness, no matter what. It's always competitive. But what do you want to be competitive in? Do you want to be competitive in mathematics, science, biology, chemistry, and physics? Or do you want to be competitive in jump shots and baseball and all that different stuff, track and field? I get it. We the best at track and field. We the best at football, baseball, all that. But slowly over the years, they have found a way to turn the hands back in regards to how our kids make it to the big leagues in baseball. There's no longer little league parks. You can't go in the black community and find a little league baseball park anymore. When I was growing up, it was plenty of it. It was Compton Pacific. We was Compton Pacific. There was Compton Northern, Compton National, Compton Central, Compton Southern. All those different baseball leagues. Today, none of them exist. Compton Pacific was over there in what you guys would know refer to as the Santana. Compton National was over there with the Kelly Park area in Southside area. Compton Northern was over there where the Pyrus were at. That was Compton Northern. Compton Central was over there by Dominguez. Compton Southern was over there by the Park Village area. None of that stuff exists today. Only thing that's still standing is the stadium in Gonzalez Park, where Huey Brooks, Kenny Landreau, the Romars, the O'Bannons, and all these different people, Reggie Smith, and all these different people, Lonnie Smith, and all these different people came out of. You know, that's still there. But all them other parks, not there. So that stopped the blacks from being able to take over that baseball, because I'm sure they didn't just do that in Compton. They did that everywhere. Does Helen Keller Park still have that little league baseball program in LA? Does any of those other parks over there still have their little league baseball program? Yeah. Yeah, more grassroots sports programs. Yeah. I'm just saying for development, for kids to have more to do, because it's important to have things for kids to do because kids have so much energy. So they need activity. If they don't have activity, then what does they go to? Games. See how that's by design, brother. That ain't coincidence. That's by design. But the problem is that nobody's talking about it. And I'm not saying I'm the only one that's talking about it, but for the most part, if you look at the internet, there's so many reprobated minds, morally deprived, unprincipled. They have a significant loss of logic and reasoning, a moral, and it just the morality just isn't there, right? And they're giving it to irrational pursuits of things that's not necessary, or things that's not warranted, or things that's not beneficial or conducive to our culture. It's not. So when you see all these people arguing on the internet and you see all this other craziness going on, and then people making videos about this, and they only make a video maybe once every 2 weeks or once a week about, another individual on the internet, that's hilarious to me because they really don't understand content creation. Content is happiness. Look it up. That's what it means. To be at peace. To write things down that is going to be creative, that's going to inspire, that's going to give people hope and happiness. That's what creating content is. It's not this mess that keeps getting spilled over the airways. Yeah, but Mike Tyson will probably get to it. Rob Moses, what's happening? But that's it, Rob Moses. Black communities don't follow leadership. They follow trends. That's what today's black people do. Look at it. They following Kendrick Lamar is a very, very smart and different individual in his rap game. And I think what he's doing is innovative, and I think that is necessary. And when I saw his video with Tommy the Clown in there, and Tommy slide the little thing, looking out, I thought that was, man. And then Tommy the Clown had his dancers in there, sea walking and all that stuff, you know what I mean? And then you seen Kendrick doing hopscotch on the little hopscotch squares. All that was pretty powerful right there. Gave me chill bumps. And then if you understand the symbolism and symbolic messages that was in there, the double entendres, triple entendres, that was in that whole Not Like Us, man, it just out there, man, very out there. But anyway, I'm hoping to be a part of the dopest people, and the dopest people be a part of me, and we continue to get into this dope and and talk about it and not talk about each other, But there's sometimes where we have to point out certain individuals that we see that are just off the table, off the scale, doing some outrageous stuff. We got to just bring them, because Denmark Vesey, Gabriel Processor, Jaja Dessalines, Harriet Tubman, Nat Turner. That's what they did. How you think they were successful? Because they knew that all the black people wasn't going to be in agreement. So the ones that wasn't going to be in agreement, they got rid of them. Simple as that. But don't mind me. You know what I'm saying? Don't mind me just watching, but go ahead and lock that door.
Cali Finest, baby. Proof of grind all the time. Music money. Got a dollar sign. Hub City. I'm a street nigga, streets fuck with me. I'ma keep pushing products till the fans get me. It's guap off top, diamond Cartier. That nigga wall won't give a broke bitch time of day.
Before I go, guys, I gotta say this. Anger is an emotional punishment that you give yourself for someone else's behavior. Don't let it happen. Until the next time, we're gonna come back on. I'm gonna try to go live more, guys, because I think it's important that I do more lives than I do interviews. That's the only way I'm gonna have a breakthrough. Is continue to do it and just get better at it. With that being said, shout out to Marlena Williams, Keith, Monique, Dominique, Black Warrior Spirit, and everybody, Mike Morrison, everybody that was in the chat. Peace and love, increase in intellect, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, purify your mind and purify your heart. With that being said, lock the door.